Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. My name is Bob Lennon, president of ThermalWood Canada, host for the show. And today we have Jeff Long with us. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
So, Jeff, you're the star of the morning show on the Wave, but you're playing a little bit of a different role today in this interview. And this is kind of neat because normally I'm sitting down with you and you're interviewing me here.
Yeah. So it kind of, different role. It's nice to sort of be in the other chair for a change and not have to ask the question. So you're in the hot seat now.
Well, we'll get the questions asked correctly, I hope. So this weekend, big launch here. You've been involved in the music scene for quite a while. You play at the local bars and on top of your regular job and stuff. And you're out there entertaining people on a pretty regular basis. But you decided to kind of veer off a little bit and go and produce an album here. So tell us a little bit about how all that came about and what it's about and what are you doing?
Yeah, it produced an album. It sounds pretty fancy. Like even when I was like releasing it and I heard album, I was like, oh, I don't know. But it's a collection of songs, so I guess that makes it an album.
Yeah.
And they're original songs. So this goes back about a year or so when I just started to invest in some audio equipment and things like that. I actually was more for, at the time I was thinking more for like voiceover stuff and that. And I started tapping into this app called GarageBand, which I'd heard about and I'd seen it on my devices before, but I never even opened it. And a musician friend of mine was telling me one day that, I know so-and-so and they record on GarageBand and it sounds really great. So I tried it out and I first just did a few covers and was just learning how to, work it and all that kind of thing. And then sort of, if I go back a long ways, in my high school and college days, I had my own band and I was more or less the principal songwriter of that group. And so I always kind of wrote songs, not a lot recently, or if I did, they would be half finished. And just, I didn't really have any reason to record them or finish them or do anything. So now I had this outlet and I had a little home studio set up where I could do that. And I just started to work on it was just going to be a little acoustic thing because when I play in the public, that's normally what it is.
Yeah.
It's just solo acoustic. And as I got going and I just started adding tracks and drum beats and synth pads and keyboards and bass. And then it was just like, this is actually kind of an album thing.
All of a sudden you got a big band.
Yeah, it's my own band at home in a spare bedroom. And so it worked out pretty good. I mean, it's not like a party record, but it's still acoustic driven and there's some pretty quiet songs. But I realized that I could actually do this. And then I just sort of learned, I didn't even know how YouTube worked properly, 6 months ago, how to upload songs and that type of thing. So I learned all that. I hooked up with a distributor that was able to put my songs onto Spotify and YouTube and iTunes and all that kind of stuff. And it's really, once you learn that, it can really happen fast for a person. I'm not looking for a record contract or I'm not looking to make it big in the music business or anything like that. It's a labor of love. And it was a lot of fun. And what was funny, it had 8 songs. There was a couple of really short ones on it. And then I wrote another song. I had sort of this creative burst now that I was starting to write songs again a week later. So I just added it on to it's called the Garage Sessions. And the reason why it's called the Garage Sessions is because I used the Garage Band. Yeah, the app. That's not because I recorded it in the garage. Although the cover is, I'm in a garage on the cover of the album. But then I just added an extra song to it. So it became 9 songs. And then I just put out a new one last week because now I'm into this creative burst and it's more of a rockin' type tune, but that's a standalone single. Really, it doesn't matter. What matters is that people can just go to wherever you stream music, anywhere in the world, you can just type in Jeff Long. Although I do have my own YouTube channel now, Jeff Long Music. So you can go there and find all the songs as well.
So this is interesting because at one time, if anybody wanted to do an album, you had to find a studio that could do this. You had to get a producer, you had to have a director, you had to have somebody to mix everything. And so that whole kind of industry behind, depending on where you went, was difficult to get. But now it's amazing how things have changed, right? But that puts more onus on you
Mhm.
to be able to do it as a one-stop shop, because you get to do everything and learn more about the marketing side of it, because the YouTube channel and Spotify and all that, that's marketing to get it out there.
Yeah.
And, and to pass everything on. So you've got to have a passion to be able to want to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like you say, it's changed so much now, like the music business. And if you want to make a record in your bedroom, you can. I wouldn't say that what I'm doing rivals being in a professional recording studio
No.
or anything like that. But you can do it. And I know other people locally around that do it as well. And like you say, there's a whole other side to it with the marketing part, which I'm just learning. And I mean, my YouTube channel might have 25 subscribers. It's not like there's a lot on it, but you can subscribe if you're into that at Jeff Long Music on YouTube. But yeah, it's you can actually make an album now if you're have enough dedication and smarts to do it. And but like you say, it does take some motivation to, if you're going to do it properly, to put it out there and allow as many people as possible to hear it, type thing.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your music. And so, as you mentioned a while ago, you've actually been writing for quite a while. You did that with your previous band before moving here to Bathurst. And I know once in a while you talk about your life in the previous band, when you toured and played and stuff.
Yeah.
And so what's most of your music about?
It's a good question. I hate writing lyrics, actually. It's when I write music, it's always the music first, and I'll la the melodies and la the melodies. And then if once I get to a point where it's like, I think this song is worth finishing, then it's pen to paper. You're drawing from your own experiences. You're drawing from, I mean, there's a song on the record about my kids, which is probably the most straightforward one, like straight, like front to back. It's a song for them. It's called Feet on Ground. Anything. And then sometimes it's just like words that fit, because I'm a melodic singer. So like when I made this record, I put so many harmonies on it. Like I went it was a ridiculous amount of harmonies on it, because when I play, it's by myself and I don't get to sing harmony. So I was throwing harmonies like all over I love singing harmony. But so you kind of set yourself up to the point where it's like, okay, what kind of a song is this going to be, and how is it going to sound, and how does it phonetically work with certain words? And sometimes they're throwaway words. Sometimes they're words that just rhyme with one another. Sometimes they're personal experiences. Sometimes it's just something you saw on television or the nightly news. It's any and all of that, really.
So does being a radio announcer and being into that world, does that help out in any way, shape, or form in here?
It might indirectly. Like I don't think about it that much. Like if I'm playing music, I don't think of like, okay, well, I'm a broadcaster, so this could help me, but it probably does in some way. I think just confidence wise, I think doing what I do allows me to have the confidence to maybe, like put out an album, like, which is, some people wouldn't, they might be shy to do that or something like that. But as far as like my music and how I approach it, I don't know if being in broadcasting helps or not, but it probably does in some way.
Well, definitely, listening to different genres of music and being there all the time when that stuff is playing in the background, and that's got to have some influence on helping you with the how you put the whole song together. Something's going to jar memory, or to get that creative itch going that you can do stuff. Something's going to hit that and go, oh yeah, I never thought about that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a major music listener. It's not everything that makes me up as a person, but it's a big part of me. And I like a lot of Brit rock. I like, the Beatles and things like this. So that comes out in my music. I talk about harmonies, and it's very melodic. And if you've not heard it, it's not something that you're going to be like, wow, stop the screaming or anything. It's not loud. It's not obnoxious. It's a bit rocking. And that type of thing. But, I do wear my influences on my sleeve quite a bit. And, like it's a little bit too, like a bit of, it's almost tongue in cheek in a way. like to make an album, because some of the songs are definitely kind of like nods to other artists. And like I just put out a new song called Let's Rock, very inventive title, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got a big rock riff and it's just Let's Rock. And it's almost like got between an Elvis thing and an AC/DC thing. But I'm not hiding, like I don't hide my influences or anything. It's kind of funny in a way. And I know that like my next project is a Christmas album, which I say a little bit tongue in cheek because everybody has a Christmas album.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
why can't I make a Christmas album?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that.
Ah, good, good. Well, I know that during hospitality days this year, Sam Roberts was one of your influences, and you really liked him because you were pumped to be able to meet him and interview him and everything else, right? So that's one of the opportunities that you get.
Well, hospitality days for me it's been so cool over the years. This year, as you say, I've met a lot of cool people over the years. Bare Naked Ladies last year was really cool. I got to interview them, and that was one of those things where it was like, you guys probably not going to be able to do that. So I just went up to the singer and asked him if,
Yeah, I remember that was kind of funny too.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. And they were so great to talk to, but that was like, wow, I'm talking to some of my musical heroes. Sam Roberts was among maybe the most friendly artist I think we've ever had in the trailer. Like, I mean, he was just, I mean, you can speak to it.
Yeah. And I just remember him stepping down from the stage in this last song and going and hugging people and taking pictures with him and everything else. And that was wild because you never really see that. Right. Yeah. And to get people to be able to do that, and then everybody kind of joined in, and he didn't get back up on stage for a while. He was having so much fun.
When I was in Halifax at broadcasting school, that's when he put out his album, We Were Born in a Flame, which was his first big album. And I think it's still his biggest album. And I play that album to death. Like, I mean, it's just really good stuff. And his stuff's very melodic too, and very Beatlesque. So big influence for sure.
Well, it's really great to hear that you're doing this. It's great to hear that, you've kind of stepped into a zone that you really didn't know how to put it all together, and you're doing it, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. And so my hat's off to you for doing that. And one of the things about this whole show, and before we even get to talking about that, something I want to talk about too is the fact that you're doing a launch tomorrow.
That's right. Yes.
Or tomorrow or Saturday?
Yes, Saturday.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Depending on when this
yeah.
Saturday. That's good point. It's going to be a 5 to 8 at Four Rivers. So big shout out to the guys at Four Rivers for having me there. My buddy Kev's going to join me for a few tunes. It's not going to be like what you hear on the album. It's just a general acoustic live show, but we're hoping to get a nice gathering of friends and folks over. And if you've never seen me before, I still run into people say, I don't know you played music and all that kind of stuff. So it's a release party. We'll hope to make it as big of a party as possible, but it's welcome to everybody. So 5 to 8 Four Rivers, stop by.
Okay, perfect. And the thing too is that a lot of people hear your voice every morning, and but don't necessarily have a face to match to it. So, by the way, this is Jeff Long, the morning host with Wave, but at the same time, is that you have another life outside of the radio side, and so it'd be great so people get a chance to get out there and see you. And as I was getting to a minute ago, and I figured we'd throw in this thing about the launch party, but taking that chance and getting out there and doing something different and talking about the amount of talent that we have in our region. Talent in your case is a talent of being able to write the music and play the music and getting out there. But now you've kind of added some more to it, and you're reaching out to friends that are around you again in this area that are helping you out with, the Garage app and putting stuff together and helping you out on that side. And, go upstairs and talk to Jason. He'll help you out with learning more about getting out there on YouTube and that kind of stuff. But there's people in this area that can help you. We don't have to go to the big cities to be able to do it. We can do all that here.
I know that's a big premise of the show. And before we get around to that, I just wanted to say like how cool it is that a local business like yours is sort of becomes like a multimedia thing, and then is bringing in people from the community and interviewing them and having your own channel which is so cool and is completely above and beyond. So good on you guys for doing that. But as far as the local musicians, I don't know all of them in town. I know most of them, and it's a fairly tight knit group. And I posted about this on my Facebook after hospitality days, after seeing a lot of the local groups. Thursday night was a little too late for me because I have to be up early. Sorry because I know a lot of great bands played that night. But what was funny was a lot of the people are in multiple bands.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like one guy that's in this band, and then he's next show he's in another band, and but they're so talented and versatile because one guy will switch. Oh, he's a drummer in one band, he's the bass in another band or whatever. You see that around here. And like per capita, for the amount of people that are here, for the amount of talent, and I'm not just saying this, like,
no, it's true.
It's incredible, the musical talent in this region.
Yeah.
It's humbling just to be a small part of it, really.
Well, being part of that, and that kind of opens up the segue, because this is all about turning up the heat. And I think that you're doing a great job at turning up the heat. You're promoting in the morning on the morning show. You talk about stuff. Even this morning, you were talking about ThermalWood Canada, because we got the breakfast, morning breakfast. What is it that it's called?
It's called the Wave Breakfast Break.
The Wave Breakfast Break, because it's changed. You get different names as you go through, and that was awarded to our company. So thank you very much for doing that. The boys were quite happy with that. Lunch show was Olive. You're going around everybody and trying to see if she could pick up scraps, but it's all about turning up the heat, and you do a great job. And token of our appreciation, I'm going to get you to change this hat of yours.
Yes.
And because only the people that go on this show get one of these hats. Okay. So all about the northern heat. There we go. Look at that. You look great.
Northern heat. Yeah. Bringing the northern heat. It's an honor and a privilege to do the role that I have with the radio station and be involved with the community. I don't take it for granted. So I'll use this opportunity to thank everybody for listening into the Wave over the years. And the Wave's a new station, but I've been at the station for many, many years. And just thanks for that. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Good luck with your launch party. Hopefully there'll be people lined up at the door trying to get in and beating up to get out of my way. I got to get in there, but keep on doing the great work, Jeff.
Thanks, Bob.
And there we have it. Another edition of Northern Heat for this week. The place you come to listen to these stories and that haven't been discovered yet.